Hi everyone. I wanted to remind everyone that there's just 2 weeks left to enter my new contest. The contest on my 400 subs. The link to that is below. It's a video response entries, please. So make those videos and enter because you've only got a little bit of time left. DVD prizes await. 2012 is a very exciting year coming up here. Not only could the world possibly end, but there's going to be a ton of movies coming out that we're all very excited to see. And some of them I'm excited about as well, such as The Hunger Games and, The Hunger Games, what else? The Hunger Games, oh right, The Hobbit, yes, The Hobbit's coming out, as well as reboots of Spider-Man and Superman, and This Means War, which is something I've been waiting for a while as well. Don't know if they'll be like fantastic movies, but I'm looking forward to seeing them. However, the ones that I do think are going to be fantastic include Haywire. Haywire is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and he cast a mixed martial arts woman by the name of Gina Carano in the lead role, despite the fact that she's not either a film or television actress. It's a spy movie. She's like an operative who, takes out people, performs assassinations or covert missions, whatever, and she gets in trouble, and so she goes on the run, kind of like, the usual type of thing. But it's a spy movie that has a really good cast in it, and I like Soderbergh, of course. Ewan McGregor, Bill Paxton, Michael Fassbender, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas. Whole bunch of really good people in this movie. We'll see how good it is, but it's one that I'm excited, of course, because it's Soderbergh, and it's an action thriller by him, which is unusual. So, yeah, that could be good. Then we've got Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is co-written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard, who worked together on some of Joss Whedon's television shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. It involves a bunch of young people, one of whom is Chris Hemsworth, right? Who played Thor. This was actually made before Thor came out, but they've delayed it for a while because they wanted to convert it to 3D, I think. All I knew about this movie is that it involved an isolated remote cabin, which bad stuff happens. I presumed it was something like The Evil Dead, but apparently it's more complicated than that. There's a trailer that just came out, and I watched it once. I don't recommend watching it too carefully if you don't want surprises given away, so I'm only watching it the one time. But this would be high on my list anyway, and it actually was on my last year's most anticipated list as well, but now it's finally coming out, so that's good. Cabin in the Woods, Drew Goddard, Joss Whedon, love those guys. Drew Goddard is the director, by the way. Skyfall is the latest James Bond film. Unusually, it's directed by Sam Mendes. They've gotten some interesting people to do the last couple James Bond movies. Mark Forster, who did Finding Neverland, and Monsters Ball, did the previous James Bond movie, Quantum of Solace. And a lot of people didn't like that movie, but I thought it was good. This one I'm more excited about, because Sam Mendes did Jarhead, American Beauty, Road to Perdition, Away We Go, a bunch of good stuff. And so we've got, of course, Daniel Craig and Judi Dench playing their usual parts, and Javier Bardem as the villain. That's exciting. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that very much. Of course, Sam Mendes probably won't be handling a lot of the action stuff that's handled by Second Unit, but still, he's got his own eye, so we'll see. Dark Shadows is the latest Tim Burton film. Now, normally I don't look forward to Tim Burton movies that much these days. The last few movies that he's done, I really haven't been all that excited about. Sweeney Todd was pretty good, but not one of my favorites. I really wasn't big on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Didn't like Alice in Wonderland at all. But this is really interesting because it's based on a supernatural soap opera that was on in the 70s. The story is Johnny Depp plays Barnaby Collins, who was a vampire, and then he was buried in a hole for like 200 years, and then he was dug up in the 70s, and his family is a bunch of humans, and he ends up living with them. And presumably they deal with supernatural stuff like ghosts, wolves, monsters, what have you, but they have to learn to deal with each other. He has to learn to deal with them. He has to learn to deal with society, because he's been gone for so long, plus he's a vampire. Complications arise. And that's a really interesting idea to me. So I'm looking forward to this. The supporting cast is really good as well. You've got Helena Bonham Carter, who's in a lot of Tim Burton movies. She was in Sweeney Todd. She's been in a bunch of them. Michelle Pfeiffer is in the movie. She hasn't worked with Tim Burton since Batman Returns. She played Catwoman in Batman Returns, so that'll be cool. Jonathan Lee Miller is in it, Jackie Earle Haley, Chloe Grace Moretz, Eva Green from Casino Royale, she's in it as well. Looks good, looks really interesting, so that will be fun. That's coming out next year, sometime in the summer. Django Unchained is the latest Quentin Tarantino film, and I didn't really dig on Inglourious Basterds all that much, but it did have its moments, and Christoph Waltz is in this one again, so that's good. This movie it takes place in the South. It's on a plantation where there are slaves. I believe the main character is played by Jamie Foxx, and also Samuel Jackson, and Kevin Costner. Is it Kevin Costner or Kurt Russell? One of the guys replaced the other. I think actually Kurt Russell's in it instead of Kevin Costner, or maybe it's the other way around. Kurt Russell was in the Death Proof, Tarantino's film Death Proof. Sacha Baron Cohen is in as well. That's very cool. Anyway, I'm not really sure what the plot is, but presumably it's about the slaves revolting against their white masters. And DiCaprio is in it as well, Leonardo DiCaprio. So he and Kevin Costner or Kurt Russell or whomever are the racist guys, and they're fighting against the main characters are fighting against them. Like I said, don't know a lot about the plot, but anything Tarantino does, I'm interested in. So that's pretty high on my list. Also high on my list is The Dark Knight Rises, which of course is the last of the 3 Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I'm not a real big fan of The Dark Knight. I know a lot of you guys are. It's a widely admired film, so the question as to whether or not this is going to be as good or better than The Dark Knight probably won't be liked as much because there's no Heath Ledger, of course. But since I didn't like The Dark Knight as much as Batman Begins, I figured it might be actually better than The Dark Knight, but probably not as good as Batman Begins, and probably not as good as Inception either, which I thought was fantastic. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to see it no matter what. It's going to be exciting. Presumably because, there's a lot of more scenes, I guess, filmed in IMAX this time around. I don't know, we'll see. But once again, you've got Christian Bale playing Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Michael Caine, of course, and you've got a bunch of guys from Inception as well, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Tom Hardy playing Bane. The weak link for me is Anne Hathaway. Not sure how she's going to do as Catwoman, Selena Kyle. She doesn't really strike me as the tough type, but she's decent. She's good in Rachel Getting Married, but most of what she does I'm really not that interested in. Although she is, good in general, it's hard to see her in this movie, so I guess, hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised by that. Congratulations, Danny and... What? No, I'm sorry, this doesn't belong here, sorry. Gravity. Gravity is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who did Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. He did Y tu mamá también, and of course he did Children of Men, which came out in 2006. Fantastic movie. And this is science fiction along with Children of Men. It takes place in the future. Sandra Bullock's the main character. She is an astronaut traveling back to Earth on her spacecraft, and something goes wrong technically, and her life is in danger, and she's got to figure out a way to fix the damage and get home. George Clooney is in this movie as well as a supporting character, but it's mostly a one-woman show as far as I can tell. It's basically just her alone in this ship, and from what I gather, technically the movie is going to be really, really ambitious. The first scene is a 20-minute long unbroken shot, which presumably will be stitched together from a lot of different elements, CGI and performance capture and what have you. But still, that's exciting to see, and I really like this director a lot. I'm really excited to see this. Hopefully it will be out by the end of the year. Another movie which could come out by the end of the year, hopefully, is The Master, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It's his first film since There Will Be Blood, and I don't like some of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, like Boogie Nights. Really don't like that movie very much. But this is a thinly fictionalized version of the story of Scientology, the Church of Scientology, and L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction author who created the religion, which of course is very popular amongst some famous people in Hollywood, which is one of the reasons why Anderson had so much trouble getting the funding for this movie. Presumably the studios didn't want to alienate members of the church who they work with and who star in their films, like Tom Cruise, for example, so they didn't want to bankroll it. So he had a lot of trouble getting it together, but it's shooting now. Hopefully it will be released by the end of the year. Johnny Greenwood is doing the score again, like he did for There Will Be Blood, so that's good. And I'm just excited. You know, the story itself is intriguing to me, just an intriguing story. So combine that with Paul Thomas Anderson's visual style, and it's one to look forward to. Philip Seymour Hoffman's the main character. Joaquin Phoenix and Amy Adams are also in it. Definitely one I'm very excited about. But the one that I'm most excited about, of course, is The Avengers. Joss Whedon, who did the TV series that I love so much, Buffy and Angel and what have you, Firefly, Dollhouse, is the screenwriter and director of the Marvel and Mashup. And, you know, as far as those of you who've been watching my videos for a while know how I feel about this. They could not have gotten a better guy to make this film. He's amazing. He's great with ensemble casts. He's an excellent writer. He's just a very, very clever guy. And to have all these great characters come together in one under his watch is fantastic. Just really, really exciting to see him put this whole thing together. It's almost too good to be true, as far as I can tell. And though I watched the trailer and thought that maybe the visual style was a little bit cheesy, again, it's just a teaser trailer. There's not that much footage in it. Presumably, you know, well, we'll see. I mean, I will see, no matter what. I mean, it's coming out at the beginning of May. I'll be there opening night. No matter what kind of reviews it gets, no matter, you know, how people like it or not, I am totally there for it, and I know that it's going to be, at the very least, entertaining. And probably a lot more than that. Yes, very, very excited about this. And presumably if they do an Avengers 2, hopefully he'll direct that one again. That would be great. And they'll get Andrew Garfield from the new Spider-Man to be in it. So that would be nice, right? I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I know a lot of you guys probably have your own best of what's coming lists, so I'm eager to see them if you're making those videos. So thanks very much for watching. Take it easy, guys. Later.